So, well, we're here with Danielle. She is the director for leisure travel for the Americas. That's from Canada to Argentina and everything in between. For the great Mandarin Oriental Hotel Group.
Thank you, Eduardo.
So, no, thank you for being here, coming to Brazil, participating on our LTM. And again, it's a pleasure to have you here. We really love the Mandarin hotels. So tell us a little bit more, how many properties are there on the group now?
Thank you, Eduardo, for this wonderful question. Actually, this year is truly a year of transformation. This year and the next few years for Mandarin Oriental Hotel Group. We're currently at 43 hotels, which is already a fairly big jump. We've been really concentrating on openings in the European region in particular. So this year, we've already acquired the management of the Lutetia in Paris, as well as the Conservatorium in Amsterdam, which made it into 43 hotels. And then later this year, we'll also be opening Vienna in Austria, as well as our second hotel in downtown Dubai.
Wow.
And we'll have much more opening announcements to come. We are, as I mentioned, some years of transformation and growth. So our goal is to get to 100 hotels in the next 10 years, which should be more than double our current portfolio.
Wow, that's a lot. I heard you just opened a new property in Beijing.
That's right.
And it's quite special. It's different than everything. So what about that?
Oh my gosh, indeed, it's not just a phenomenal hotel, but it's truly a destination in its own. China was a little bit kind of late to recover after COVID because it was the last to open up its borders and doors. So right now the hotel rates, unlike all the other key markets, it's still hovering on the slightly lower side compared to prior to COVID. Right now this hotel, the Mandarin Oriental Tianmen Beijing, is way above any other in the market. Basically this is built of hutong homes, the traditional homes with courtyards, and it's an entire kind of 8 rows of it, entire neighborhood of these traditional Chinese home experience that's around the palace. So it's like living in local, and the suites start from, well, the rooms are suites, so they start from 110 square meters all the way to 500 square meters. Wow. Just truly an exceptional experience, and I already see, our Brazilian travelers and American travelers going there as that's the destination, not all of Beijing, but they want to come stay in this hotel. So I see the interest in this hotel growing even more so in the next few years.
So that's quite different, because usually when I think Mandarin, I think, something on a high rise like in New York. Are there any other properties just like the one in Beijing that are kind of outside of the box and outside of what people would expect?
Absolutely. I actually think there's a very dynamic mix of architecture between our hotels. Actually, design and craftsmanship is one of our key pillars of the Mandarin Oriental Hotel Group brand. So if you see our, actually Mandarin Oriental Lutetia, which is a palace hotel, it was built as this beautiful palace building, or our new Vienna hotel in Austria, which was the old Department of Architecture that belonged to the government. So it has this very grand kind of Austrian architecture that has that grand feeling. So there's a mix of these classic, beautiful architecture, as well as this Tianmen, as well as also, as you mentioned, these new architecture of Mandarin Oriental New York or Tokyo that sits very, very high above the city and is changing the flow of the neighborhood. It's like a neighborhood enriching new builds. So it's a great mix.
Amazing. So out of these 40-some properties, over 40 properties, how many countries are you located?
Oh, actually, I lost count.
It's over 20. You're like spread out over 25, 30 countries in like 4 continents.
That's right.
How can you integrate like the local culture? Because this is something that people are looking after, like integrating into the local lifestyle and understanding the local culture. How can you do that kind of locally, bringing from the global to the local? How do you integrate that into the hotel experience?
Absolutely. The global part, I think, is the part of the brand, our service culture that originates from the Asian hospitality, the humble, authentic service that really keeps all of our guests coming back. The local portion is actually another one of our pillars. So experiences is one of the pillars that we offer as a hotel brand. So for us to make sure that our guests get exclusive access, but also something that's time enriching and local to the community is something really important to us. So as an example, our Mandarin Oriental London Hyde Park, it's the only hotel that sits actually inside Hyde Park. It's the Queen's Grounds if you open in the back garden. And from there, not only do you see the Royal Horse Guard pass by every morning while you're having breakfast, but also we offer this program called Little Rangers, where we have an entire Rangers kit for the kids, and they can go out to Hyde Park to discover all of these key points. It's like a treasure map.
Wow.
But we have that for older kids as well, younger kids, and it's giving them an opportunity to really explore what's on offer just naturally, inside the most important park in London. And similarly, in markets like Madrid, there's private access and tour offered during closing hours at the Prado for our guests. And these are the type of experiences that we make sure that our guests feel not only special and exclusive, but also it's really, really connected to the local experiences in these markets.
That is fantastic. And I had the opportunity to stay at several of your properties. For me, it's amazing how you're able to bring in the outside with the restaurants, all the F&B outlets and the decor and everything, how you bring a lot of the outside culture into the property itself. So you kind of really feel embedded into that local where you have. So you guys do a great job.
Thank you.
On that. No, it's quite amazing. Now we're seeing difficulties, especially after COVID, keeping the level of service to an acceptable standard. And again, having stayed at several of your properties, I can testify that you're doing phenomenal.
Thank you.
How can you keep on providing such a great service when service levels went down in general?
Yeah, I think it's constant training, and I think it's most importantly rooted in culture, because there was already a very, very strong service culture. So that was the basis of anything we do. When a new colleague starts, they have to go through this training, understand where the service heart comes from. But also when a seasonal hotel is reopening, for example, and they're recruiting all of the staff members, we have something called the CEA program, where each of the hotels then raise their hands and say, I'll go help. So each of the managers and department heads go in to help retrain the teams and kind of invigorate the culture of Mandarin Oriental to these new teams. And I think that is the biggest difference. It's a real advantage that we are not so small, but also not so big, that we really operate like a family. As you can see in our booths, we are all kind of like a family and friends with each other.
True.
We care about each other, and we know each other. So we're large enough to be able to send help to others, but small enough that we're really a tight-knit community. And I think that's the biggest advantage that we have as Mandarin Oriental in terms of the size.
Fantastic. But what could you say to this younger generation that want to get into the luxury travel, hospitality? What would you say? Because you're fairly young yourself. So
I'm a few years older than I look, but yes, I actually...
You look like a millennial to me. But what word of advice would you give to all these new entrants? What are you looking for when you go and hire these new talents?
Of course, everyone loves travel. Everyone they see the luxury travel that we're a part of, and they want to be a part of it. Yes, it is indeed glamorous. But I really make sure that it's reiterated that it's not only about the travel, it's about creating the magic and the willingness or the wish to serve. We want to create magic to others. We want to make sure our guests feel amazing. So the hospitality industry, of course, we're in a luxury hospitality setting where it is glamorous, but we're the ones here to serve and to make sure that we're really in it for the right mindset. And I reiterate that the work that's required in our industry is nonstop. You really have to be passionate about wanting to satisfy others, wanting to give, to offer more, to be generous, both with your time and your passion. And actually, it's so rewarding, because what other industry can you say that work and life is so integrated? And some people see it in a negative way, but for me, I think it's the most positive and the most rewarding thing, because what other industry do you see where work and life really kind of become one, and we are truly some of our industry partners are at work are some of our closest partners in life. It's one of the few industries this happens. So I talk about the work and the hours and the passion that's involved in the work in the hospitality industry, and then how it leads to something that really is rewarding.
Amazing. Now, circling back to this roadmap of growth that you have, you more than doubling in size within the next few years. Can you tell us a little bit of what you're looking, where you're looking, and especially the takeovers? Because what you mentioned about Conservatorium in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam, and the Lutetia, which is a fantastic property in Paris, now under new management, it's going to be even better. What else, if you can disclose, what can you tell us about it?
Of course, some of the new openings. Indeed, some that are announced actually include some exciting expansions in Italy. Of course, we already have Milan and Lago di Como. Yes, beautiful hotels. But we plan to open in Cortina next year.
Wow.
It would be our first ski resort, so that's very enticing. We also have plans to open in Rome and Sardinia.
Wow.
So that would make it 5, potentially a few more in Italy, so more news to come over there. That would be the biggest growth in terms of Italy market. Actually, I mentioned Vienna, Austria opening this year. Within the next 2 years or so, we plan to also open Hungary in Budapest. So together with our current hotel in Prague and Vienna, with Budapest,
Prague is beautiful.
Yeah, indeed. So it'll be a perfect pairing between that triangle, also mergeable with Munich. And we also have 3 hotels in the small country of Switzerland, Geneva, Zurich, and Lucerne, which are very easy to pair with Italy, with Germany, with Austria, Hungary, and Prague.
Anything
so
outside
lots of great
Europe
connectivity.
that you can tell us about?
Europe tends to be the big focus right now, but in the next phase, we're certainly looking at the Americas. We want to reinvest in the Americas and grow our presence here. The Americas in general is a huge feeder market for particularly for our European hotels.
Right.
So we want to make sure we have also a presence that matches. The one that's going to be a renewed product is Miami. So end of this month, we're closing our Mandarin Oriental Miami.
Miami has been such an iconic property for so many years.
Indeed.
So what is happening in Miami?
Yeah, we operated the hotel for 25 years so successfully, but there was a vision to really renew the product. The demand in the market was different. It was a large key product, so we wanted to shift that focus a little bit. So we're actually demolishing the building and then rebuilding into 2 buildings, one that's a hotel, one that's residences. So hopefully in the next 4 or 5 years, it will reopen. It is guaranteed to be a Mandarin Oriental
that's
again.
really
so
exciting.
Indeed,
Danielle,
excited.
Thank you so very much again for talking to me, for coming to Brazil, and being present here at ILTM. It's a pleasure to see you here. I hope you come. Is this your first time?
No, this is maybe for ILTM, maybe my 5th time.
In São Paulo.
Yeah, indeed. And then in Brazil, maybe 8, 9 times. It's one of my favorite countries.
You're almost Brazilian now.
I hope. You have to find me a Brazilian husband so I can be a Brazilian.
Be careful.
Be careful what I wish for.
Exactly. It's not that hard. But again, thank you very much for talking to me and telling me all about the news on Mandarin Oriental. We're super excited to see this growth of the company. Thank you.
Thank you, Eduardo. It was a pleasure spending time with you, and really the whole vision and reason for us to be here to come visit Brazil is to spend time with the best partners like you. So thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.